So the whole time we were traveling, I felt like I was on an episode of Punk'd. I felt like cameras were going to come out at any time and say, "Gotcha!" Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about our recent travels with United Airlines and Brussels Airlines. It was a travel nightmare. It was a trip from hell. So let me get started with the story and I'll let you know about it in just a little bit. It all started with my husband purchasing our tickets here at the Brussels office. And here in Monrovia, my daughter's ticket was $13.75. My ticket was $16.56. We always buy round trip tickets. So we fly with United and then we connect with Brussels. We go to Freetown. We don't get off the plane. And then we land in Monrovia. So that's how I've always flown to Liberia. I've never done Air France or Air Morocco. I've never done any of those other airlines. So I've always done Brussels and United. That's just the way I've always done it. So anyway, and every time that I've come in the past, I've never had an issue. Here and there, sometimes luggage won't make it, but I would always get it. Nothing has ever been taken or stolen. So I would always get my luggage. But for the most part, it's been smooth flying. This time, it's like Brussels were waiting on me. Okay, so the things that you need in order to come to Liberia. So let me just include that in this video. So of course, everyone needs their yellow book. Have your yellow book. You also, the Liberia travel app, download it on your phone because there is a form that you have to complete, which I'm not sure if they're still doing it. So anyway, there's the entry form that you complete for COVID. Then their testing is no longer required. You don't have to bring test results to come into Liberia, and you are no longer tested at the airport, which is a big deal. You just have to, if you're 18 and above, you have to have proof of vaccination. So they have a list of the approved vaccinations. So it kind of made travel easier. So a couple of days before travel, because I'm one of those people, I start going to Brussels, and United has a travel ready center where you can go and see everything that you need to do before travel. So anyway, before travel, I went to that travel ready center and it lists all the requirements that you have to have. You have to have your yellow book, you have to have a visa, you have to have the travel Liberia travel app downloaded on your phone, and you have to fill out the entry form. And the entry form is for contact tracing for COVID. So I have everything. I go to download. I have the Liberia travel app because I'm back and forth so often. I try to open the app is not working. That was like days before travel. Kept trying to open the app is not working. I went to the Brussels Airlines site and they said if the app is not working, you can print these forms and fill it out. So being the person that I am, I downloaded the forms, I printed them, I filled out the travel forms on paper because the app was not working. Everything is still going fine. I'm like, okay, I have everything. I always do visa on arrival. So my husband gets the visa here, and then I have the copy. Whenever I go to the airport, he meets me with the original. I never send my passport off to the embassy and get a visa. I do visa upon arrival. So that's what I've done. I have my visa, I have my yellow book, I have my COVID vaccination. Even though Sienna is only 6, she has her COVID vaccination form. The only thing I couldn't do was a travel app. So that's how the whole thing began. So it started off as just an ordinary day. The global narrator is there with us. I have 6 pieces of luggage, 2 carry-ons, a backpack, and a purse. So we are entitled, because there's 2 of us, we're entitled to 2 pieces of luggage per person, so 4. So I had to pay for the other 2. So it's $200 for everything else. So you have 4 that's free, $200 for the other 2, so that's $400 that I paid for luggage. And I had 2 carry-on. I had a backpack and a purse. 1 carry-on is for me, 1 carry-on is for Sienna. My purse is mine, the backpack is hers. But because she can't carry anything, I'm carrying the 2 carry-ons, the backpack and the purse. Mind you, I just walking beside me. So anyway, we get to the airport and you will see, we tell the global narrator bye. The first thing that happens is the woman says, "Where is the travel app?" on your phone. You have to show me that you filled out the form. So yeah, I'm like, the app isn't working, but I was able to download the form like it said on your site, and I filled it out. The woman said, no, we can't accept this because when you do it on the app, it gives you a reference number. I'm like, but that's not my fault. The app is not working. I go to look at the reviews on the app, and everyone is like, this app is not working. You're delaying people's flight. People are missing their flights because the app is not working. So finally, there was something that she said, well, scan this at the airport. I scanned it, and I was able to go to the Liberian Ministry of Health page, and I was able to fill out some kind of travel certificate, which is not the form that the airline needed, but for some reason they accepted it. So they accepted it, but that delayed me almost 30 minutes at the ticketing booth when I was trying to check my luggage in. So imagine if someone couldn't do that, or they were pressed for time, you could really miss your international flight due to this travel app. So anyway, after that was taken care of, checked the bags in, paid for the other two, paid $400. I think, did we tell him bye before or after? We told him bye after, so you'll see that. Tell him bye.
Bye, see you in the booth.
Amen.
Amen.
How you say bye in Google?
Mommy,
We finally get to go through security. We get upstairs. We're sitting. Our flight leaves at like 11:56. We're seated by like 9:30 in the gate area, so everything is good. Sienna is fed. I had something to eat. We used the bathroom. Everything is going good. So the flight was from DFW to Washington, D.C. So flight was supposed to leave at 11:56. We get there about 3:30. My next flight from Washington to Brussels boards at 4:45, set to leave at 5:30 for Brussels. So we're sitting there. It's 9:30. I still am fighting with this app. All of a sudden, the LIB app is working after I've been seated at my gate. So you know what I do? I fill it out because I don't know if the next person is going to ask me or if it's going to cause me a delay. So even though they have let me get to this point, I still decide to fill out the app. So as I'm sitting there, it's about 11 o'clock. We get the announcement on the intercom. Due to mechanical errors, mechanical difficulties, they're calling the mechanic. There's an error message on the plane, and so we're delayed. They're just gonna have it checked out. It should be about 30 minutes. So it's around 11 o'clock. We don't fly out till like 11:56. That's fine. 11:30 comes. Say we're still waiting on the mechanics to come because United has contracted with this company. We have to wait. Our mechanics can't check it. We're still waiting. 12:30, 1:30. So at this point, by 1:30 or so, I went up to the desk and I said, well, I probably should try to reroute myself to get to either Chicago or Newark so I can fly out to Brussels, because there was only that flight. I think that was the latest flight to Brussels. It would leave at 5:30. The man said, no, there are about 10 of you guys flying to Brussels. And so they will wait on you guys. They know the delay is mechanical. They're going to wait on you guys. There's no need to reschedule. A lot of people, there were 10 of us. A lot of us from Brussels kept going up. So should we reroute ourselves? He said, no, it should be fine. So we get on the plane and we find out that the flight from from Washington to Brussels has been delayed. So it's no longer leaving at 5:30. It's going to leave at 6:30, which encouraged us even more. So I asked the flight attendant, so the flight is delayed, if we're going to make it, because you ask the same questions over and over when you're anxious. And he says, the flight attendant, now that we're boarded, he says, yes, there's 7 of you guys on this flight to go to Brussels. So they're definitely going to wait on you, just like the same ticket guy told us. So we land in Washington at 6:30. All of us start booking it to that gate. That gate was like 300 miles away. I'm running with two carry-ons, my backpack, my purse. Sienna's running. She has to use the bathroom. Her legs are tired. My legs are burning because we're running. We ran to like 30 gates. So we finally go to the gate that is leaving for Brussels, empty. And it's like all the Africans, we looking around like they left us. They left us. So we're just standing there looking at each other. I'm like, what just happened? They told us that they would wait on us. So what happened was the flight took off at 6:30. We landed at 6:30 and we didn't get to the gate until 7. Y'all couldn't wait 30 more minutes. Y'all couldn't wait 30 more minutes. So anyway, so let me recap. The flight from DFW to Washington was late. We were told that Washington would wait on us because we were international travelers going to Brussels. There were 10 of us, at least 10 of us. So that means they would leave. I mean, they would wait on us. They wouldn't leave, and they left. So now we're stuck in Washington. So what happens is I call the United, instead of standing in the customer service line, you could chat with an agent. So I stood in the line, but I also started chatting with an agent. She said, well, so I'm supposed to be in Liberia by the 15th. She said the earliest confirmed flight that I can get you would be the 19th. That's 4 days later. And I said, no, we're gonna have to work something out. So she ended up finding a flight leaving 2 days later. So that means me and Sienna are stuck in Washington, D.C. for 2 days. So they put us in a hotel. They shuttled us to a hotel. We went to the hotel, stayed there that night. They told me the hotel said you only have one night booked, so you have to call the airlines again the next day in order to book another night, and it may not even be at this hotel because it's just availability. So we stay in the hotel. We only have limited amount of clothing because, you know, your carry-on, you don't really plan to stay the night. So I just have things that can, I mean, we have a change of clothes, but it's not like anything that I would have picked had I known I would be staying 2 nights in Washington, D.C. for me and Sienna. So we stay in the hotel. We wake up the next morning. I call the airline again because we need another night. They tell me that they can do another night, but it would be at another hotel. They send me the hotel voucher. They send me the Uber, not Uber, the Lyft code so I can get a free Lyft ride to the new hotel. So everything is good. We just have to pack up that day by 11 or 12, by 12 to leave that hotel to go to another hotel. I have everything I need. So I'm trying to book the Lyft. Guess what? I don't have any internet on my phone. So I'm at this hotel, I'm checking out, trying to book the Lyft, no internet. So guess what? I had to call a taxi and pay for that out of pocket. So it's just a series of things. You know how when it's not just one thing, it's just a series of things that are going wrong and it just makes your day horrible. So I spent the night in one hotel after not being able to board my flight. I'm not going to be leaving for Liberia for 2 more days. And then I have to leave this hotel to go to another hotel, and then no internet, just dead. I tried to book Lyft with my phone not working. I had to call a taxi, pay out of pocket. That taxi took me to the other hotel. So we're at another hotel. It's nicer. So we're there. The good thing about the best thing about this whole thing was my husband has a cousin who we love and we don't get to see her very often. And she was able to pick us up from the second hotel and we got to spend the day with her. I went to Target. I got some toiletries. She took Sienna. We had some Thai food. She took Sienna to get some ice cream and things like that. So it was fun. So we on our second day now. At the new hotel, we spent the day with my husband's cousin. So the next day we wake up, we were able to check out. My internet is working. I was able to book Lyft for free with the voucher that the airline gave us. We were able to check into the airline. And so after checking in, I went to baggage claim. That's very important if you're ever rerouted. I had my baggage tags. I went to baggage claim, showed them my tag, let them know I was being rerouted on a new flight. I wanted them to locate my luggage, which I could track my luggage on the United app. So I wanted them to locate my luggage and just make sure they were rerouted, and they did. So at this point, we get to the gate. Everything is fine. We board for Brussels. In a way, I was like, this is too good to be true. You mean I'm actually boarding for Brussels 2 days later? Imagine if I had something important to come to Liberia for. Imagine if it was a big family event. God forbid, a funeral or something how horrible this would have been. We board for Brussels. My body is just beat up. Don't see me looking like a spring chicken. I mean, when I say my body was sore, beat up from just all the traveling, the stress, everything. So we board for Brussels. We get to Brussels. Everything is fine in Brussels. You know, there's just a long wait. We land at like 7:30 and then the next flight doesn't leave till like 12:31. It's always, if you ever go to Brussels, they always have the Africans in one spot. And it's not a lot of vendors there. It's not a lot of food options, not a lot of stores. It's like they just pick the Africans and just throw them in this one spot. And so it's uncomfortable. You know, you just kind of, it's like we just forgotten. We just wait for hours for our flight to come. So when you get to Brussels, they re-verify your documents, and then we board for Liberia. So when we board for Liberia, we always stop in Sierra Leone. Or, you know, you board for Liberia, but it makes a stop in Sierra Leone, and then the people from Sierra Leone get off the plane. So the people from Sierra Leone get off the plane, but if you're going to Liberia, you need to sit down. So what happens is the flight attendant, she does her walk, and what she does is, after the people from Sierra Leone get off the plane, we're still taxied, we're just still waiting. She goes and she opens the overhead bin, and all the luggage has to be accounted for. And she says, does this belong to you? Who does this belong to? Because if it's not accounted for, they take it down for the people in Sierra Leone. So you need to account for your luggage. It's time for you to wake up. Well, after they do that, then they do a head count of everyone on the plane. There should be X amount of people going to Liberia. Well, guess what? Some Liberian joker, he just saw that the plane landed. Papi got off the plane, and he in Sierra Leone, they couldn't find him. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I must be getting punked. All I want to do right now is go to Liberia. Why are we sitting here and they're looking for this person? Just let him stay in Sierra Leone. Maybe he want to start a new life. Why are we stopping this man? So anyway, to this day, I don't know if they ever found him. I have visions of the fact that he has probably remarried, has a new job, has a new family, and he's very, very happy. So anyway, we waited for like 30-45 minutes, but imagine your flight, because of flight delays, you are 2 days past the date that you're supposed to make your destination, and you finally are like this close to Liberia, and you have someone who gets off the plane at the wrong location. Then these people, these Brussels airline people, sitting looking for a grown man. I said, let's go, man. So like I said, to this day, I don't know if they ever found him. I want to say that usually from when I go to DFW to like Newark or Washington or Chicago to Brussels is where I kind of brush up. I brush my teeth. I have baby wipes. I put on deodorant. I try to freshen up a little bit. Let me tell you, I didn't care what condition my husband picked me up from. I don't care how he picked me up. I don't care how I looked, how I smelled. Like, that tells you how beat up I was for travel. Oh, okay, it gets worse. I didn't tell you this part. So we finally make it to Liberia, and I go to immigration with me and Sienna. I have a copy of our visa on arrival, and my husband is there. We can wave, we can see him. They were like, where the original? And I'm like, we need the original. He's like, oh. And I was like, eh, God, don't tell me he didn't bring the original. But he was like, let me go to my car. He went to his car and he found it. But it was just like one thing after the other. So anyway, that is my travel nightmare story, and I am going to get a hold of Brussels because I am due travel vouchers, because the error was not on my end. The error was mechanical. It was on their plane. So we are due travel vouchers, I think up to the amount of the original purchase price of our tickets. So because the delay was 2 days, they could not reroute me adequately, so I believe that that's what I'm entitled. So I'm just gonna find a day in order to speak to customer service, because nowadays when you talk to airline customer service, it can be an all-day wait thing. So I just need to find the time, but I am going to do it. So I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you enjoyed listening to the misery that was the travel from DFW to Washington to Liberia. This is in Sierra Leone. Don't forget, we're missing a Liberian right now in Sierra Leone right now. He's living his best life. This is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you later.